The rain hammered down on the cracked pavement of New Boston's abandoned industrial district. Kanat huddled beneath a rusted overpass, his threadbare jacket doing little against the autumn chill. 3 years on the streets had taught him to find shelter where others saw only decay. That's when he heard it, a sound like breaking glass mixed with electronic static, followed by a crash that shook the ground beneath his feet. Kanat peered through the rain and saw smoke rising from behind a collapsed warehouse wall. Every instinct told him to stay hidden, but something else, something he thought the streets had beaten out of him, pulled him forward. What he found defied explanation. A craft no larger than a commercial van sat embedded in the concrete. Its surface rippled with colors that shouldn't exist, shifting between silver and impossible shades that hurt to look at directly. Steam hissed from a gaping wound in its hull, and through the opening Kanat saw movement. She was small, barely 5 feet tall, with skin that shimmered like mother of pearl. Her large eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangle across her face, blinked in rapid succession. Blue fluid leaked from a gash across her shoulder, and she struggled to free herself from twisted metal. Kanat didn't think. He rushed forward, ignoring the heat radiating from the craft. The metal burned his hands as he gripped the twisted debris, but he pulled with strength born from desperation and years of survival. The alien, because what else could she be, cried out in a language of chimes and whispers. "It's okay," Kanat said, though he knew she couldn't understand. "I've got you." With a final heave, the metal gave way. The alien tumbled forward, and Kanat caught her, surprised by how light she felt. He carried her away from the craft just as something inside it exploded, showering the area with sparks. Under the overpass, Kanat laid her down on his only possession of value, a worn sleeping bag he'd found months ago. The alien's breathing came in rapid, shallow gasps. Her blood, if that's what the blue fluid was, pooled beneath her shoulder. Kanat tore strips from his jacket, the same jacket that kept him warm on the coldest nights, and pressed them against her wound. The alien's 3 eyes focused on him, and in that moment, Kanat felt something pass between them. Understanding, maybe, or gratitude. For 2 hours he stayed with her, keeping pressure on the wound, talking to her in soft tones about nothing and everything. He told her about his daughter, about the accident that took his family and his will to continue, about the streets that had become his home. The alien's breathing steadied. Her hand, 4-fingered and delicate, reached up and touched Kanat's face. Her skin felt like silk over glass. Then the sky lit up. 3 crafts, each the size of a city block, materialized above them. Beams of light descended and figures began to emerge. Dozens of beings similar to the one Kanat had saved, but these wore elaborate suits that glowed with soft light. The alien beside him spoke, her voice suddenly clear in Kanat's mind. "Thank you, human. You have saved Bella, daughter of the Archon of the Centaurian Alliance." Kanat's mind reeled. I can understand you." Temporary neural link, Bella's voice echoed in his thoughts. "My people have searched for me for 3 planetary rotations. My vessel malfunctioned during diplomatic reconnaissance. You risked yourself for a stranger, for an alien. This is rare." The other aliens surrounded them now, immediately tending to Bella with devices that sealed her wound in seconds. But she never took her eyes off Kanat. "What is your name, Savior?" she asked. "Kanat. Just Kanat." "Not just anything," Bella said, rising to her feet with renewed strength. "You gave of yourself when you had nothing to give. Among my people, this creates a debt that transcends worlds." What followed happened so quickly that Kanat struggled to process it. Medical scans revealed treatable conditions he'd ignored for years. Housing was arranged, not charity but employment with the newly established Human-Centaurian Cultural Exchange. His role, to help other humans understand that kindness and compassion weren't weaknesses, but the very things that made humanity worthy of joining the galactic community. But more than that, Bella ensured Kanat received something he'd lost 3 years ago on those dark streets. Purpose. 6 months later, Kanat stood in an apartment he could call home, looking at a photograph of his daughter. The grief remained, but it no longer consumed him. Beside the photo sat a small crystal sculpture, a gift from Bella, that caught the light and cast rainbow patterns across the walls. His communication device chimed. Bella's message appeared. "Ambassador Kanat, your presence is requested at the Centaurian Embassy. We have much work to do in showing the galaxy what humans are capable of when they choose compassion over indifference. Kanat smiled, put on his jacket, a new one, but he kept a strip of the old fabric as a reminder, and headed out. He'd saved an alien princess in a moment when he had nothing. She'd given him back everything, including the one thing he thought he'd lost forever: hope. In the grand equation of the universe, one act of kindness had changed two worlds. And as the Centaurians would soon learn, that was humanity's true superpower, the ability to care, even when it seemed there was nothing left to give. That was what made them incredible.